2 legs. And as we discussed in training, every time you're lifting the femur out of the pelvis, and you get a chance to levitate the bones of the leg and lift them up out of the pelvis for the receiver. Every time you're doing this, you're giving the low back a vacation. Do not, with that being said, do not underestimate the power of leg Thai massage if the chief complaint is low back pain. So I love this sequence for loving up the low back and also the legs. There's dual benefits happening here. So after traction, after we did some nice zippity doo-dahs, we're gonna rise up on our knee. We're gonna bring our foot in between the knee into our low lunge. And to rise up, I'm gonna tuck my back toes under. I'm gonna inhale, push off my back foot. And then exhale, legs together. First, I start inside ankles. Then I'm gonna bring the feet and the entire ankle into internal rotation as much as I possibly can. Every body is going to be different, so to find what is possible. From the internal rotation, I now have a shelf for my upper glutes. I'm going to stay straight like a plank and strong. I'm going to take a deep breath in here. And then on the exhale, I'm gonna lean back. I'm gonna keep strong plank body. Keep my body really strong. My core is strong, my glutes are strong. And then as I inhale, I'm gonna float forward. And on the exhale, still internally rotating those feet to create that shelf as I lean back to my strong plank body. And then I inhale, I bring it forward. So you never want to keep traction going on eternally. You do want to give breaks in between traction. So that's a perfect cue is with the breath for the timing. So the inhale will start kind of in front of the feet. And then as I exhale, I just come back. Just one breath long is the timing of the traction. There's such thing as overdoing it. So just being cognizant to, as you inhale, bring the femurs in, and then the exhale to bring them out. Good. Awesome. From here, I'm going to still cradle the outside of the feet, external rotation, just a little bit more of the ankles. And then I'm going to use my knee, tapping underneath his knee into flexion, and then coaxing it with my hand. So it's a double coax. And first I'm coaxing him with my knee, and then with my hand in the arch of the foot. So they're working together, I'm gonna walk closer outside of the hips. Once I'm outside of the hips, I'm gonna bring his feet, my client's feet, inside for like a Baddha Konasana, mid-quad. Now he's sort of like on mid-quad. Can bend my knees a little bit, have more of like a goddess kind of horse stance like in Qigong. And then from here, it's stable enough to where I can go hands-free. And that's kind of your goal, is to get to this place of going hands-free. Most people will have a tendency to have their knees too far inside them. So it's important that you bookmark, you place the feet here, save them, so that you can encourage their adductors to open. So that's kind of a couple of reasons we do that. And one of them is so we can make connection with the adductors. He is very open. He has received Thai massage before. So immediately when his knees went wide, he came into the perfect kind of posture. But for most receivers, you'll have to kind of coax the adductors to open. Once you're here, then we can begin dancing from the hips back to the hands. I'm gonna cradle outside the ankle, and then I'm just looking at his knee and bringing it in towards the armpit. This is one tempo that is really nice for opening hips. And then we have a tempo that's about twice that speed. So there's different kind of rocking variations we can play with here. Good. He's doing an excellent job keeping his knees wide. He's making my job really easy. I'm gonna walk now inside line. My feet are just hip width apart, parallel to his hips. And from here, I'm going to do praying monk, where I come origin of adductors. I'm going for inner origin of adductors. And I'm pinning. And then with the heels, I can kind of open so it becomes a pin and stretch. It's not a huge, I'm not pushing on his heels a lot, so it's not a huge one, but just gentle. The main thing I want you to focus on in this pose is your knees and allowing them to sink in, and then allowing your hips to come over your knees into a stack. My shoulders are slightly back, my pecs are slightly open, and then if you want to show, my feet are kind of hard to see, but they're active and my heels are up. That kind of allows me, those active feet allows me to have more control over this, so I'm not full on balancing on the adductors here. So I come across to his body is very stable. Hold this for 6 to 10 breaths. This is an awesome compression for low back. And then to come off, I'm gonna push his feet towards his chest as I peel off the knees backwards. So kind of an oppositional force going on there. And then we're gonna set up for pretzel. So I'm still outside his ankles. When we practice pretzel and Thai massage, we try one foot at a time just to see what's possible. I'm gonna line up my foot right outside of his rib cage. Then I'm gonna bring his heel either on top of my hip flexor or my quad, wherever it can fit. And then I'm gonna bend and bring weight into my foot once again. I'm also supporting his foot over here with my hand, and I can also practice plantar flexion of the foot here if I want. I'm just testing out this hip to see if I want to do full pretzel. If the client is too tight to do full pretzel, just do one side at a time. For the sake of practice of this video, I'm going to show you what full pretzel would look like. So I maintain connection on the top of the foot here. I lean my knee forward like I'm kind of lunging forward with that left knee. And I'm going to aim my right foot outside of his rib cage. Then quiet foot coming down the side of the rib cage. I'm shifting my weight into one foot. I'm going to shift weight onto my other foot as I bring right in front of my hip flexor quad. And now he's fully pretzeled. There are several things we can do from this position. We can dance and shift the weight from side to side. You can massage the arch of the foot from this position. Feels really nice to have that compressed and massaged. And then there's two ways we can intensify the stretch. One way we can intensify it is if I bring his feet together. It's one way to kind of make this stretch more intense. Or I can push the leg down towards my knee. So for very flexible ballerina, I could bring the feet together, and then I could really just start to bring those legs lower onto me if I wanted. lastly, what you could practice in pretzel is using your stomach to kind of cradle the feet into flexion, and then you could compress the chest here as well. Options. To come safely out of pretzel, I'm gonna have my hand outside of my quad ready to support. I'm gonna unfurl both legs. And then I'm gonna overstep backwards further than I think I need to. And I'm gonna push his knees towards his chest as a backwards walk. One more time, coming into bookmark pose. So he's supported here, he's not going anywhere. Then I can reach up and slowly pushing his knees, adduction, and then his feet just gently fly off me. And then I can use my abductors and my knees, and I'm sort of internally rotating my legs, and I'm pressing my legs together just so I can cradle his legs into this nice flexion. From here, he's supported, and then I can be free to use my hands to go grab a pillow. I'm gonna wrap the pillow just below the kneecap onto the tibia side of the IT band's side of tibialis anterior, and then rewrap. I'm gonna rewrap my legs, coming outside, IT band, really snuggled here, really cradled, and then we're gonna bring the arm out into like a cactus arm. Perfect. Nice to get the chest to stretch at the same time as the low back, the legs. Awesome. So placing hands onto pec major, spreading weight across the entire palms. We're gonna do a breath cue here. So take a deep breath in, John. As he exhales, I'm gonna lean forward. I'm gonna keep arms straight. I'm leaning my whole torso, my pelvis. I'm squeezing my legs together. And my goal is to bring his knees towards his chest. You can hold this wonderful compression with palms onto pec. Thanks, Leo, for the comic relief. Massage can never be too serious. And palms onto the pecs, and then brachial plexus, external rotation of my palm. And then you can start rocking. I'm pressing through my palms as I shift my weight gently from foot to foot, just warming up for the ninja twist. I'm gonna take this next twist really slow to be cognizant of any possible low back pain, bulging discs, contraindications from, mostly just disc issues in the low back. So be careful with your supine twists, listening and listening. We're gonna slowly bring my left knee onto the mat. My left knee is coming down, and then my top leg is still supporting onto the IT bands. And then this arm, the right arm, is gonna be gently pulling on the low back. It's not a huge deep tissue move, it's just a gentle pull down of the rib cage. That top leg is securing the receiver. And then next, I'm gonna push off my left knee. I'm gonna bring my palm back up to his pecs. I have an active foot with my left foot. I'm pressing off my left foot. I'm gonna support and bringing palm to the pec. And so now I'm back with both feet on the ground. This side, you'll be able to see even easier what's happening. So to prepare for the other side, this knee is gonna come down and the foot just goes back. So let that knee come towards the armpit. The more flexible they are, the closer you come to the armpit. And the more or less flexible is you scoot your knee away from the armpit. So those are great ways you can adjust that. That top leg is supporting the IT band. That hand can come and gently coax the low back muscle, the QL to stretch. Other hand, we can come, open up liver, open up lats. And then alternating here. So sometimes we'll have palm on the pec, but then also it's really nice to have your palm as well on the wrist extensor here. It's really nice to compress that muscle as well. And then you come back to center. So active foot, active foot, active foot. Bringing my knees together as I bring his knees together. You could take, once you've twisted on each side, you could take one last nice compression here, keeping arms straight. And alternating as well over to the biceps. This can be a great blood stop. And then to come out, I'm gonna bring my knee down one more time to the mat. I'm gonna bring my arm up to the pillow, up to his knees. I'm gonna undo my top leg. I'm gonna bring my knees together. I'm gonna use my other arm to just keep, ideally, this whole time, you're just keeping their knees into the chest. Because once their knees are in their chest, they're so-called trapped. Almost like I call this the turtle pose. They're trapped in and they're not gonna fall and you're not gonna have a moment of losing trust. The whole goal of Thai massage to maintain trust, support the entire time. So from here, I now make my body perpendicular. I come behind his sits bones. I'm a couple inches away from his hamstrings. I'm gonna come support underneath Achilles. And then with my right knee down, I'm gonna low lunge, left foot across to his hip, and then the knee pits come over the quad. And my own ankle is matched up right in alignment with my knee. From the knees draped over, we're gonna take now the receiver's feet. One more time, we're gonna make a foot sandwich just like we did at the beginning of the sequence. Make it nice and snug, and then I'm gonna push down with one hand onto both those feet, because I only need to do that with one hand. This hand can support the knee, and I'm gonna come and lean away from him. I'm pushing down on his feet with isometric pressure, constant pressure, and then I'm leaning away from him. The last thing to do is to lift up your heel, and then with my heel lifted, I'm rocking from my left hip. My left hip is doing all the rocking, all the work, and I'm lifting up that heel of my low lunge. So this would be like totally lowered heel. It doesn't seem like much, but if you just lift up the heel 3 inches, it helps lift up his hips and his pelvis. And this is a wonderful rocking to end with after all the flexion, knees into chest stuff we just did. This is a fantastic cool down to that. And then slowly come into stillness. I come, I lean back in towards his midline on the stillness. I give him a moment, kind of gather after the shaka. I'm gonna come underneath my other forearm, the Achilles. I'm gonna keep supporting the knee as I slowly sit back, my legs together and forward. I'm getting really comfortable here. The more bend I have in my knees, the more cradled he is. From our cradled side stretch, I'm underneath the Achilles with my forearm. I'm going to take off my upper arm and slowly fade out my feet, and I'm going to deliver the legs with my forearm. One leg gets to rest, sliding out, and slowly the other one gets to rest. And you could end all of that wonderful leg back opening. You could end with one more nice, deliberate, firm pressure through the palms, rounding the arches, resting the head if you want.